I know who I am. This is my body. Look at this shit. I am barely here. I am barely alive right now. Right now, the only way I can get laid, shave my beard, trick a high school teacher. That's all I got going for me. I have the body of a high school senior. I don't know what to say. Literally, this was my body when I was a senior in high school. I haven't gained weight. I can't lose weight. I'll die. So this is just my body. Everyone's always like, that's got to be nice. I'm a 29-year-old man. No, it is not. If I'm at a bar and I bump a guy and he's like, you want to take this outside? That's not going to be a fight. That's going to be an assault. I'm not a lover or a fighter. I am a victim. I barely weigh enough to turn passenger seat airbags on. That's a real thing in my life. This past year, I had to buy a child's extra large dress belt because they don't sell small men's dress belts in stores. Yeah. It goes to the fucking third notch. I don't feel good about it. I had to walk up to another grown man who was this cashier and hand him this belt. And he scans it and he goes, you got kids at home? And I went, nope. And he went, ugh. And I was like, I like the way it feels around my neck when I'm alone. Mind your fucking business, Target. Yep. This is my face. If you don't like it, deal with it. I am. Yeah, this is my face. It hasn't always been my face, actually. I had a nose job when I was 17 years old. It did not take. Look at this fucking thing. It did not take. The doctors came and they're like, we tried our hardest. There's nothing we could do. I really did have a nose job when I was 17. I used to have a big hook in it, and now it's straight like this. Yeah, so I went from people being like Jew to people being like Jewish. The only people who call me hot in life are other straight white men, which is not the demographic I'm going for. Like, the best I do with women is cute, and one time a lady said I look like Adam Lavine, but she smoked crack, so that definitely does not count. Did this joke in Wisconsin one time, and a woman in the audience goes, can you sing like Adam Levine? I was like, ma'am, if I could sing like Adam Levine, do you think I'm doing stand-up for 8 drunk people in South Beloit, Wisconsin? I can't even do regular Beloit. No, I can't sing like Adam Levine. I'd be waking up underneath a model. I learned a lot about myself this past year. I learned I have what's known as a gambling addiction. I like to put money on shit. Yeah, no, I do. NFL wide receiver Calvin Ridley got in trouble this past year for gambling because if you're a professional athlete, you aren't allowed to gamble on the sport you play, and he got caught gambling. And then it came out he was injured at the time and he wasn't playing with the team. And then it came out he only gambled on his team to win, which means he got in trouble for believing in his friends. Dude, every March I blow a paycheck on college basketball. Those are kids who are still going through puberty. I'm like, win me new shoes, child. And this guy's like, I just hope my friends do well. I threw a fucking shoe at a TV this past March because a kid with a wispy mustache beat Purdue. Yeah. I spent all last summer gambling on European soccer. I've never watched a single game in my fucking life. I almost won 80 grand on a single bet. That's a real thing. On a $5 bet, I almost won $80,000. I did a 12-pick parlay, which if you are a degenerate, it means I picked 12 games. If they all hit, I would have won $80,000. I missed it by one fucking game. Yeah. Germany lost. And I was like, this is the worst thing these people have ever done to anybody. This is the worst shit. This is terrible. Maybe the Volkswagen thing, but this is a close second. Learning about myself, I realized I have bad road rage. Bad road rage. I was going to make a turn at a 6-way intersection recently. There's too many in Chicago. I don't know why we have them. I was going to make a turn at a 6-way intersection as the light changed red, and this car blew through the red light. So instinctually, I turned around and flipped him off. And the guy behind me had honked at the guy going through the red light, but he thought I was flipping him off for honking. And I found out he had way worse road rage. And he turned with me, and then he sped up next to me and got next to me. And to set the vibe, he had a Dodge Charger with a giant Punisher skull painted on the side. You know, like chill people have. And he goes, roll your window down. I was like, I don't want to do that. And he goes, roll it down. I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I roll my window down, and he holds up his middle finger. He goes, hey, man, I'm not retarded. You're retarded. Which is an aggressive thing to say in 2022. But it's also not what the middle finger means. That's never been what it's meant. So I just immediately said, are you sure? And then he got real upset. He's like, you want to pull over and fight? And I was like, based on that last sentence, I feel like that'd be a hate crime. I don't think we can. This is all happening at 35 miles per hour, by the way. We're speeding down the hot. And then he got real upset, and he sped up in front of me, and he got right in front of me and started pumping his brakes. And I should have been upset by that, but all I could focus on was he had a giant coexist bumper sticker. I was like, there's no way he knows what that means. I was like, this man leads the most confused life of all time. Bumper sticker. People with Jesus Fish bumper stickers confuse me, right? Because everyone with the Jesus Fish bumper sticker drives so cautiously, and all I could think is, do you believe or not? Because either he's going to take the wheel or you're going to meet him, but hit the gas for Christ's sakes. I have places to be. I'm only afraid of two things in life. I'm afraid of dying and balding, and that's it. And the second one sounds shallow, but when you got a face like this, balding is a form of social death. So really it's only one fear. People are always like, you can check for baldness. It's genetic. It's your mom's dad, which sounds nice, but my mom's dad walked out when they were kids, and that's a weird conversation to have with your mom. Hey, Ma, I know you're still torn about your dad leaving and all, but do you remember on his way out? Was it luscious up top? Or could you see your tears in a reflection off the back of his head? What was going on there? Everyone's always like, why don't you track him down? So I did. I tracked him down. He's in Texas, in a cemetery. Died in '01. So I bought a Ouija board, and I tracked his ass down spiritually. I'm like, let's get this answer. I was like, hey, man, were you bald in life? Because I believe in an afterlife, and everyone has great hair. So I was like, hey, man, were you bald in life? And the Ouija board moved. It scared the shit out of me. It said, went to get cigarettes, BRB. I'm like, wow, he's consistent. He fucking hates his family. Everyone always says being afraid of balding is shallow, but I've had 2 terrible haircuts in my life that make me know it matters. Here's the thing. The second awful haircut, I was a sophomore in college. My buddy was like, hey, I'm buzzing people's hair. You want me to do yours? I'm like, I'm lazy. I don't want to go get a haircut. Sure. And at the time, I wore my hair like a mop. So I had no idea what the number system was for buzzers. So he sat me down. He's like, what number do you do? I'm like, I have no idea, man. Just go with what you feel with. And he goes, all right, I'll do a 1, which I didn't know was basically bald. So I sat down, and I'm looking at this wall, and he buzzes my hair. And I stood up and looked in the mirror. And with this face and this body, it looked like I had just time traveled from 1940s Germany summer camp. I was like, there's no fucking way I can ever go bald. The first awful haircut I ever had, I was a 7th grader. My dad, he goes, hey, the barber's not in town. I'll cut your hair for you. And he gave me what can only be described as the most aggressive bowl cut in human history. It looked like he put a fucking salad bowl on my head and just went around with scissors. And I don't know if you guys know this, but 7th graders are the meanest goddamn people on earth. I went into 7th grade, and they called me bowl cut bitch boy Brian for 2 weeks. And the only reason they stopped was because a kid in our grade spilled orange juice on his pants during lunch, and he went to the bathroom and wet the entire front of his pants because, to quote him, maybe if it's even, they won't notice. They fucking noticed. And they called that kid Piss Pants Pussy Pete for 4 years, which didn't even make sense because his name was Jonathan. Bunch of alliteration-loving assholes. I'm a hypochondriac. My fear of death has made me a hypochondriac. I go to the doctor a lot. I recently was at the doctor, and he removed a mole from my back, and he goes, we'll let you know in a week if it's cancerous. I'm like, cool, I'll spend a week in panic. Great. And a week later, I get a call from a lab tech, and he just goes, the mole is unremarkable. Didn't even say hi. Just goes, the mole is unremarkable. And I was like, did you just tell me I don't have cancer and it's boring? What the fuck? I was like, dude, I have insurance and I paid $300. Send me a bottle of champagne and a fucking singer. I am a hypochondriac. I go to the doctor a lot. I was at the doctor. We were looking through blood work. He's like, your blood sugar looks good. Your iron looks good. Then he paused and hit refresh and went, I was like, what's up with that? And he goes, do you know what LDL is? And I go, yeah, Lil Dicky lookalike. And he goes, what the fuck did you just say? And I'm like, Lil Dicky, the Jewish rapper. People say I look like him. Is that not it? And he goes, why would that be it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Why are we doing a pop quiz? What's going on here right now? He goes, no, man, it's low-density lipoprotein. It's bad cholesterol. Yours, impressively high for your weight. I was like, what is it? He's like, 140. I was like, what should it be? He's like, 70. I was like, fuck, that is impressive. And he's like, I'm not going to high-five you. I'm like, then don't use impressive as your adjective, man. I don't know what to tell you. And he goes, man, I have a 74-year-old man coming in after you. His cholesterol is what yours should be. What's your diet like? I was like, well, I do stand-up comedy, so I mostly eat bar food and fast food. And I live above a pizza place, so I eat that like 5 times a week. And he goes, doesn't that get old? I'm like, have you ever had pizza? No, it doesn't get old, man. And he goes, okay, you got to change your diet. You got to start eating fruits, vegetables, fish. It'll lower it. And I go, that's not good. And he goes, okay, here's what happens if you don't. You put yourself at risk for heart attack, heart disease, stroke, and on many occasions, erectile dysfunction. I was like, lead with that last one. You would have sold me right away. Just be like, hey, your dick's not going to work. I'd be like, let's go get some fish, dude. I was walking out of this man's office. This 74-year-old man was walking in. Shredded, absolutely shredded for 74. Like, he was so muscular for 74. And the doctor stops the 74-year-old man and goes, hey, tell this young man what your life motto is. And the 74-year-old man looks me in the eyes and goes, if you don't want to look like a skinny little bitch, eat lots of fish. And I was like, am I on punked right now? That's so specific for what's happening in my life. What the fuck? I see a therapist. I do. If you haven't been listening, I see a therapist. Yeah, I do. We were recently sitting down and he was saying, in my 20 years of counseling, I've dealt with people who are drug addicts, people who have been shot at, people who are in gangs, people who are war veterans, and you have the most aggressive fear of death I've ever seen. And I was like, honestly, man, just nice to hear I'm the best at something. If we're just being honest. You're doing a good job.